All right, one of the things that's really hard about reading a play is keeping in mind who all of these different characters are. So when you look here at the beginning of a play, they usually list the character names, and sometimes they give you a brief description of who those folks are. One of the things I like to do when I'm reading that is I'm introduced to a character, I like to write their name on a sheet of paper. But then as a hook, as a way to remember that, I always write something about them. So Nora likes macaroons. So now every time I think of Nora, I'll go back, oh yeah, she's the one that liked macaroons. Well, then I keep reading and I find out there's other characters. Here we're introduced to Helmer. Well, what do I know about Helmer? Well, I know he's a businessman. And then I say, well, now wait a second, what's the relationship here? I can tell by the way they're talking that they're married. So I write a line that connects those two. So now, later on, if I'm reintroduced to Nora, I can go, oh yeah, she's the one that likes macaroons, and she's married to Helmer. Well then, I keep flipping pages, and I'm reading, it's a conversation between Helmer and Nora, and Helmer and Nora, and Helmer and Nora. Oh, a maid comes in, but the maid, I can tell by the title maid that she's probably just the maid. But then all of a sudden I'm introduced to Mrs. Lynde. What do I know about Mrs. Lynde? Well, I know she's friends with Nora, and I also find out she used to work in a bank. And then I keep reading along, and I find out as these connections go, I continue to develop my chart here. The next character that I'm introduced to is Rank. Well, I can tell that Dr. Rank is a doctor, first of all, and there's a lot of talk about him dying. I also know that he's friends with Torvald Helmer. Oh, there's a trick. I find out his first name is Torvald later, because sometimes that gets confusing. Sometimes they refer to a character as the last name, but sometimes they refer to him as the first name. So since I knew that, I can figure that out. Well, also, as Dr. Rank is leaving the scene, he confesses that he's in love with Nora. So now my chart is starting to get a little crazy. But we're only about halfway through the first act. All of a sudden, I get introduced to Krogstad. What do I know about Krogstad? I know he's here to do business with Torvald. So there's a business relationship. Well, then I find out he used to date Mrs. Lynde. So this gives me a good guide as I'm flipping through the pages. I can then go back and say, oh wait, which one is Helmer? I can come back to my chart and say, oh, here's some things I know about Helmer and the relationships that he has. So this is a good start, and it will help you through to understand most plays. This won't work on every play, especially plays with lots of different characters, but this should give you a good idea as you're turning pages. So as I'm reading the play, I like to hold this off to the side. So as I see the different characters here, I can go back and say, now which one was that? Because in my mind, I often confuse them. Hopefully that helps.